Welcome to a very special Dungeons & Dragons one-shot. My name is Josh Lindquist. I will be DMing this awesome one-shot with my friends and fellow creative awesome people who have joined us to do a D&D game for charity. We're going to be supporting the Autism Resource Mom nonprofit in SoCal, A.R.M. Check out the video description below so you can see about that organization if you want to donate or share their stuff on social media. So,
young people with autism.
We have dreams.
I want to be a video game designer,
an astrogeologist,
a musician.
We also have challenges.
So to address this urgent need,
Autism Resource Mom provides
support, guidance,
and hope
for individuals on the autism spectrum
and their families.
You can make a big difference.
Give to Autism Resource Mom today.
I'm going to go around clockwise on my screen and introduce everyone. First off, we have author Danny Hoots, who will be playing Clarence Bryan today. Thank you for joining us, Danny, and I'm glad that you are having a record cool of 110 degrees where you live.
Thank you.
Yes. We have Lindsay Kinsella, our friend from Scotland, who's an author as well, who will be playing Brontornis. Thank you so much for joining us for your second session of D&D. This is so exciting.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. We'll try to have some duck cameos here if we can, just to make it feel familiar. And we have author David Green joining us, who'll be playing Drunor Belachan.
No problem. I'm seeing as I am autistic and my son is autistic. This is a great thing to do. So thanks very much.
That's so cool. Awesome. Well, we're so excited to have you. And we have Kevin Ott, fellow writer. Thank you so much for joining, Kevin. So excited to have you play with us for the first time in a long time. And this is going to be a really cool experience. And you'll be playing, I got to pull up your character name, Ori Cozumel, correct?
Ori Cozumel, yeah.
Awesome. Oh, I can't wait. You guys have created such awesome characters for this one shot. I can't wait to bring them all together for what I hope is a really fun little short adventure for the four of them. So, well, let us jump in. We will be starting in the city of Borgenthak, in the land of Jir'Haniya, where all four of you have been summoned through your various backgrounds through news of a mission that the Queen is gathering to investigate a strange occurrence in the nearby mountain range. And you all find yourself in the Gilded Bronze Tavern in the evening. It's quite dimly lit, and there is a man who has summoned all of you, sitting in a green and purple cloak, waiting for you all at the table that was mentioned in the summons. So if all four of you would like to describe your characters and how you would enter, and we will just go from there. I will nominate David to go first, to talk about Drunor entering. Okay,
so Drunor is a wood elf. And he's quite tall. He's about 6'5". He's got very, unlike me, he's clean shaven with lovely flowing raven coloured hair. But he is not from this part of the world. He is from a place very far away, which speaks the same kind of language, but he speaks it with maybe a different understanding of certain meanings and other such things. Maybe like if we go to real world between an American and an English person, there's a few little cultural changes, but he's quite amused and bemused equally with these changes. So he kind of comes in and he's he's admiring the differences in his culture to where he is at, but he's very, very excited about learning more.
That's awesome. Well, you would see the man who who matches the description from the letter. He would see you and wave you over and go, "Ah, welcome. You must be the wood elf."
A wood elf is what I am. This is true.
Come, we'll sit and join us. Anything you want to order here from the tavern is on me. Drinks, food, whatever refreshments. And it looks like Brontornis has arrived. If you would like to describe Brontornis, Lindsay, let's introduce him next.
Yes, so Brontornis is a birdman from a far-off island nation. He's an exile. His home's been destroyed, and he's out here looking for a purpose. I went quite deep in the backstory, and now I have forgotten all of it.
That's okay. I looked at it right before this session, so we will be pulling stuff from there. But what does Brontornus dress like after traveling to this city? What would he be wearing and stuff?
He likes to keep a low profile, so dark cloaks and the hope that no one recognizes the huge beak sticking out from under his head.
Okay. Well, the mysterious man sitting at the table says, Brontornus, come join us. Here, sit in the shadows next to me. And likewise, as I said to our Belichan friend here, order whatever you'd like. And as he's saying that to the two of you, someone walks in with a very stunning hat. Danny, do you want to introduce us to Clarence Bryant?
Yes, so Clarence Bryant is an archaeologist, hence the hat, from the Royal History Center of Fagerfold. He's looking for his mother who disappeared. Was it 5 years ago? Yeah, 5 years ago. He's 6 foot tall and he's just kind of wearing typical clothes an archaeologist would wear. Not afraid to get dirty.
Awesome. And Clarence would have definitely heard, in addition to these summons, about a job regarding some kind of find in the mountain range, whispers of very valuable artifacts and people possibly starting to plan a raid in order to sell these to the black markets up north and the forbidden items markets in the south as well. So I figured that would draw Clarence's attention in. So
It belongs in a museum. His motto.
Awesome. Well, as the mysterious hooded figure nods to Clarence and gestures to a seat, someone walks in who stands out a little bit. Ori Cozumel, would you describe him, Kevin?
Ori is, he's a tiefling, he is a warlock, and his story is that, many years ago, his sister went missing, and in investigating the disappearance of his sister, was it his sister or his brother? Some sibling.
I think it was sister and a parent, wasn't it?
I thought it was his sister and her husband, or his sister and her. Anyway, while investigating them, he discovered that they were kidnapped by a cult devoted to the Great Old One, Quig Clugath. So when he went and he found them, he rescued them. During the rescue, they were both killed, and he was imbued with the power of Quinn Clogoth. He doesn't want it. He hates it. He'd rather have his family back. And his sort of stated goal is that he's going to find this great old Lovecraftian god and kill it. In the meantime, he's mostly just kind of an investigator. So he takes on cases. Think of he's kind of a cross between like John Constantine and Mike Hammer, but his cloak looks oddly like a trench coat.
Nice.
That's all I got.
That's awesome. Well, as you walk in just after Clarence, the cloaked man gestures down to a seat where you can sit and says, I'm glad our fourth member has arrived. He pulls back his cloak, and he is a pretty standard-looking half-elf man, kind of long auburn hair, clean-shaven, and he looks at the four of you and says, thank you for heeding my summons. My name is Ivor, and I have a very important task that I think the four of you will be excellently suited for. The Queen is putting together an envoy, because a fortnight ago, a meteor struck the mountain range one day from here. And there's been rumors of all kinds of portents and omens. Shamans have been speaking to each other for many weeks beforehand. We think something's big is happening, and the Queen wants to gather a large envoy to go and ascertain what's happened. But we fear that there'll be bandits who will get there before she does with her large envoy, possibly steal whatever's in there, which could be bad to fund the wrong people, but also if they find something that's too powerful for them to handle, we don't know what the consequences could be. So I represent the interests of some concerned people across the realm of Jir'Haniya, and we would be prepared to offer the four of you a pretty hefty reward if you can get there first and take anything that's super powerful or anything super valuable and give it to us, and we'll distribute it to the right people. What questions do you have for me?
Who are the right people?
We would prefer that to remain a secret for protection.
So
Yeah, if any of you would like to roll an insight on this man to ascertain his intentions.
I got a 22.
Ooh. Clarence immediately can tell that this man is giving you exactly what the mission is, but he is probably lying about who he works for, and his intentions don't seem entirely benevolent.
I do, and I don't know how this works in terms of the game, but I have pretty good persuasion skills. I thought maybe I could roll against them to get him to give us more information.
Oh, absolutely. So your persuasion is going to be actually a +6, so you are very good at persuasion. So before you roll the dice, I would like for you to tell me what you would say to this man, and that will determine the difficulty of selling him on it. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to make me do it. You just make the guy do it. So, look, we can't take this job unless we know what we're dealing with. And we're not going to know what we're dealing with, obviously, because nobody knows what we're dealing with, because nobody knows what came down on that meteorite. But maybe some people do know, and maybe they're the people that hired us. Maybe they know more about it than we do. If you don't want us going in without all the information and, getting killed, and then you send another team in, and they don't have enough information, and they get killed, and then you keep doing it ad infinitum until somebody else has your treasure. So why don't you just give us a little bit more information about who wants this, so that we can determine, what kind of artifact we might be looking at when we get there.
Okay, so you don't need to roll for me for that. That was very persuasive as is. That was a very solid argument. So I was trying to think how I would role play if you rolled like a nat 1, and I don't know how I do that. So we're just going to give you an auto success. And so the man leans in and goes, "You make a cunning argument, Tiefling. I am inclined to agree that, I guess the one piece of information, besides who are my backers primarily, that I have not shared with you is that these rumblings of treasure hunters and plunderers who we are concerned with, some of them belong to a cult that worships an old god with a strange name. And we are concerned that this meteor is somehow linked to that old god and his cult's nefarious goal to bring to fruition his dominance in the world. So the people who backed me are from a kingdom that its reputation is somewhat troubled, but please believe me when I say that they would rather someone else besides them have this stuff instead of these cultists. They would prefer to remain anonymous, and I would get in a tough situation if I gave their identity out. But trust me when I say they are not the same as this cult. And you would believe him when he says that. He's being pretty genuine about that.
Cool.
Can I roll Arcana or History check to see if I know the cult?
You can. It would be a history check or a religion, whichever you prefer.
19. I'm going to have high numbers now, and then the rest of the game is just
when it comes to combat, it's going to be 2, 5, yay! But Clarence, you would have realized that you've encountered in your work a lot of different cults and religious texts that refer to ancient things. There is a cult that follows an ancient one called Quinn Clugoth, who the followers have been speaking of a great power descending from the heavens that will help them in their goal to take over the world. And so this sounds eerily similar now that he mentions it. Drunor, do you have any questions for this man?
Well, I am just very happy to find out more about this region of the world because, let me tell you, I've been wanting to explore for some time. So I'm just glad of the opportunity to make some new friends and to have an adventure.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, friend. I know you've had to travel quite a ways to get here. How remiss of me. I have not spoken of the reward for your heroic actions. The people who back me are willing to give all 4 of you 2,000 gold coins each. In addition to any items you find during your delving into whatever's been left of this meteor strike, anything you find that isn't a danger to others in terms of its power, and it's worth less than, around 5,000 gold on the market. You all can keep any incidental finds for yourselves. So that's what we're prepared to offer you. Also, Drunor, we are glad that you came. The reason that we reached out to you is that we heard a story from your past. You can share it with the others if you wish, but in the area where this meteor fell, there are known to be giants at times who can be quite a threat to those traveling through. So I know you might be able to help the team in that regard.
Well, I do have a history with giants, one in particular, which it brought me a little bit of fame from where I am from, but I don't like to brag.
Very well. Well, that fame has reached our ears even this far north, and so that is why you were one of the first we reached out to. And then he turns over to Brontornus and says, "What are your thoughts, Silent One? Are you on board for this mission, this quest?"
Well, obviously Brontornus is a strong silent type, so I'm just going to nod gently.
Okay.
Scowl a little. And then eat some birdseed.
There you go. The man looks at you and goes, "This tavern has quite fine birdseed. I hope you enjoy it." He does take out 4 small scrolls which contain maps. They're pretty basic maps, but they do show a path from the city you're in to where this meteor strike is thought to be located. It looks like it's about a day's travel. But yes, so it looks like it's about a day's travel. And as the man hands you all these maps, they are all identical. He says, this tavern has an inn attached to it, of course. I've paid for the finest accommodations for the 4 of you. Anything you want to eat or drink tonight is on me. I'm going to leave the 4 of you to discuss this mission, and whatever you want to eat or drink tonight, it's on me. I'm going to leave you all. Whenever you recover anything that might be valuable or dangerous from this meteor strike, on your maps there is a spot about half a day's journey east of the meteor strike location. If you go there after you've been to the dungeon, there'll be someone waiting for you to take anything and they will have your gold. Do you have any other questions for me? Okay. As everyone shakes their heads, he gets up and says, "Have a great night and best of luck on your quest." And he leaves you all to this table. So I'll let you guys talk in character if you guys want to discuss anything, and then otherwise we'll fast forward to the next day for travel.
So, archaeologist, do you know anything about what they're talking about?
There is a similar story about a cult that wants to take over the world, so there is some truth to his story. I'm just not sure.
Have you seen that cult before?
I have not.
Okay.
Just read about it in books.
They're bad news. They're very bad news.
We definitely want to stop them. I'm just not sure what his intent, like who's backing him, and whether or not they're gonna use it for good.
And whether or not we're walking into some kind of weird trap.
True.
Drunor has some stuff in his ears from traveling. He's gonna go clean his ears while everyone else discusses around the table. So, Rontornus, the waitress at the tavern, comes and brings you another bowl of birdseed. So here.
Yeah, you've been awfully quiet through all this, Big Bird. What do you think?
Yes, I've chosen the strong silent character to cover up the fact that I don't know how to play this game.
I did the same thing the first time I played. I picked a character with amnesia because I was like, okay, any lore, you've got to speed food to me because I have total amnesia. So
that's a good strategy.
Smart. I should have thought of that.
Rontornus, with your background though, the idea of protecting people from dangerous items does appeal to you based on what's happened in your past, which I'll leave up to you if you want to share with others or not. So,
Yes, protecting people from a cult following a god is also very important to me for reasons I will not discuss because I'm very mysterious. Or part of my personality.
I like it. David, how's the? Can we hear you now?
I was going to say that I always expect a trap, in my experience. To Brontorus, your accent sounds vaguely familiar, like it's possibly to the north of my lands.
Ah, yes, we are from the rich and better part of the realm.
Awesome. Well, as you guys bond over some drinks and some food, and retire to, for an inn of this size, surprisingly nice accommodations for the night. You all are able to get a good night's sleep and a long rest. And the next morning, you would find a note at the place where they're serving breakfast that says has instructions for the four of you to go to a local stable where they've purchased steeds for you to ride north or northwest to where this meteor strike is thought to be located. Do you guys have anything to do in the city before you head out?
Do we need anything? Do we need provisions for our travel, or are those being given to us?
So in your rooms, there would have been left some basic travel provisions,
Cool.
bedroll, tents, stuff like that, canteens, all kinds of basic adventuring gear. After a bit of light shopping after breakfast, you all find your steeds. They've all been selected to fit your various characters' heights. They look like you're going to be pretty comfortable to ride. And you guys have a map, so you guys travel for the day. Nothing of note happens, so we are going to fast forward to when you all arrive at the region that's marked on the map where there's possibly been a meteor strike. So as you guys leave the city, which is very much in kind of rolling hills and plains type of area, as you head towards these snow-capped peaks to the northwest, the closer and closer you get, the more rocky and steep the terrain gets. And as you enter the foothills, I would like everyone to make survival or perception checks, just to kind of get a vibe on what creatures might be around that could be a threat and what the most efficient route would be to explore this area for the meteor strike.
Rolled a 24.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you've probably been to this area before traveling, so you've got a good idea of where stuff could be. That's awesome.
21 perception.
Nice. 21. Okay. 22.
Yeah, I get a natural 20.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Promise.
Nice. I believe you. Clarence is familiar with these hills. With a high roll, you know kind of the terrain. You've been looking at maps for years, so you know this region pretty well. So you kind of determine that there's a ridge line that you can kind of circle that's going to give you a pretty good bird's eye view into this area where the meteor's thought to have landed. So that'd be a great place to start a recon. And so as you're thinking that, Drunor, with your roll, because you got, what was it, 21? Awesome. Yeah, so with a 21, you're looking at the map and you're concurring that this is going to be the best way to go. But you also notice a few little valleys and caves near that ridge that would be prime living spaces for giants. So that immediately alerts you that going that route might have some danger to it as you're exploring. Ori, though, with a nat 20, looking at the terrain says, or you realize that going that route, while it is going to give you a bird's eye view and possibly taking you some giants, there is a ravine on the opposite side of this area that you could cut through, where you might be able to get decent visibility looking upwards and also avoid being seen. So you kind of find this alternate route that no one's thinking of. So it'll be up to you guys to decide. And just in case it affects the decision, what did Brontornis get, Lindsay? Brontornis is like, I've never been to this part of the world, so you wouldn't really know much to contribute for route, but I figure everyone would kind of share their thoughts on the terrain. So what does the group decide to do? Do you guys want to take that ravine, which is going to have a little more limited visibility but make you all more concealed? Or do you want to take the high road, which is going to give you more visibility, let you explore quicker, but possibly provoke some encounters?
Where is the ravine where is all this in relation to the caves you mentioned?
So, just to save us time, I didn't really map it out, but basically there's a large area on the map that Ivor gave you that's kind of circled. It's kind of a big area, and he says the meteor landed somewhere in here. Now, kind of going along the like the southern end of that sphere up into almost the north side, there's a big ridge line that would give you good visibility in, and there's caves just on the outside of that ridge line kind of feeding into it. So those could possibly be places where giants would be hiding. Alternately, going north and kind of like closer to you guys, going up around this spherical area you want to explore, there's a ravine that could give you pretty good visibility, but not as good as the high ground. But it would be a lot more concealed and probably wouldn't encounter anything.
Before we go climbing any ridges, I am under the impression that I can fly.
Oh yes, because you are an Aarakocra, so you do have flight. I'm glad you reminded me of that. So
I just
yeah, you can do some scouting.
great.
Scouting up north just to see if there is giants in the caves.
Yeah, so I shall do that. I will fly up, have a little scout. Do I have to roll something?
I'll have you roll something in just a moment. So all three of you see Brontornis unfurl his wings and go flying to scout for you guys. So Brontornis, as you're flying, because you have a good line of sight, I would just like you to make a straight perception check, which is +3.
Okay, I rolled a 9, which I think is quite rubbish, but let's...
It's not great, but with your +3, that's a 12, which this is not a super difficult check to get the basic layout. So flying up in the air, as you do a quick sweep of the area, you're not seeing any giants, which is great, because giants are quite large, so you would definitely catch them if they were out roaming around. Now, you do spot a few cave openings, and those... It's hard to see because they're dark and it goes into the ground. There could be giants in there, but at least you spot where the caves are, so you guys can avoid them better as you're traveling and hopefully not provoke giants to come out and try to attack you. But the main thing you see is in this little valley, which again, you're in the mountain foothills. There's big peaks rising to the west. There is in this valley a massive crater that you see kind of on the north side of the area that was outlined on the map. So you definitely see where the crater is, and there is a large impact crater where something hit the ground with a lot of force. A lot of trees are knocked down. It was a pretty massive strike. And so you also see that the ravine that Ori Cozumel mentioned, that looks like it's actually going to lead you pretty close to that crater, so that would be the most efficient route. And that ravine has a decent amount of trees covering it, but because of the area in the valley and it's pretty far from a water source, the chances of running into creatures is pretty low, so that seems like a really safe route for you guys to take. If you're done with the scouting, you can return to the team and let them know what you found.
Wait, yeah, guys. What he said.
Should we take the safe route?
Yeah, it sounds like it goes straight there, so that would be the best route.
Let's do it.
Giants are very, 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 very horrible.
Yes. So as you guys prepare to take this ravine up, just due to the undergrowth and kind of the steepness of it, you will have to leave your 4 steeds and proceed on foot. Yeah, so there is a little nice wooded area where it's pretty thick, and you guys can leave the horses tied there with some food and some water, because presumably you'll be gone for at least a couple hours. Okay, so as you're traveling in the ravine, you guys do come to a little bit of a turn in the trail where you can't really see far ahead, but all 4 of you, based on your passive perceptions, you do hear a little bit of movement up ahead around the bend. How would you guys like to proceed? It sounds like there could be some semi-large creatures possibly moving about 60 feet ahead outside of your line of sight.
All right, so this will be my first spell in over a decade.
That's exciting. Let me help you. I'm going to pull up the specifics of that spell. Kevin, as you're preparing to cast that spell, basically you can create a mirror version of yourself that can just walk forward around the bend and draw out whatever's there potentially.
Yeah.
So
there's something there to attack him.
Great, yeah. And now because it is a 2nd level spell, you can take a minute to ritual cast that so you don't use a spell slot. Because it's a one-shot, I don't want to get too in the weeds with how that works, but basically, as a warlock, you only have a certain number of spells you can cast each day, and when you use those spell slots, it's like instantaneous, but you have a limited number. So right now, to save those for any more dire situations, with this one, you can take a couple minutes to just kind of like draw a rune in the ground with a stick or however you want to do it and cast it without using a spell slot.
Okay, yeah. Then I draw a very detailed picture of Patrick Starr.
Nice.
No, let's say a random runic symbol, and I prick my finger and drop a couple of drops of blood onto it, and then I spit onto it, and the ground sizzles, and then there we go.
Awesome. And so out of that rune that you've drawn, kind of like some weird smoke rises, and it slowly takes the shape of looking like a shadowy version of you.
Nice.
And then it starts walking forward towards that corner so it can draw out whatever's there. Now, Clarence, as this is happening, I did want to use your eye for detail. Please roll a perception check to see if you can get additional information as Ori Cozumel's gambit is unfolding.
14.
Nice. So with a 14, as his shadow figure goes around that corner, you hear movement, and everyone else can tell that there's creatures moving towards the shadow version of Ori Cozumel. But Clarence, you can hear distinctly 12 sets of feet, and they sound like four-legged. I forget the version of bipedal that is four-legged. But so you determine that there are 3 semi-large creatures now galloping towards this mirror image. So that gives everyone an idea of how many enemies you're about to face. Now, I do need everyone to roll initiative because it is about to come to combat with these creatures.
I rolled myself a 14.
Oh, nice. So 16 total. I love it.
I rolled a 2 because now we're in combat, and I'll...
You called it. You called it, absolutely. So is that a 2 total?
Yep.
Okay. Well, nothing wrong with going last, right?
Someone's gotta go last. Can I go ahead and do a stealth hide?
Yeah, at the start of your turn, I'll have you do that as a kind of a free action to start the combat.
Alright.
Awesome. David, what did Juno roll?
8.
An 8? Okay.
8. Yeah, middle of the pack.
That's okay. And do you have favored terrain, by the way, as a ranger?
Mountain.
Okay, this would count. So with these creatures in this area, I'll give you some insights that you gain based on the terrain and the creatures you're about to fight after the combat that could come in handy. And Kevin, what did Ori roll for his initiative?
A 5.
A 5? Okay. And Brontornis, you will actually get the first turn. I'm going to sketch out a quick layout of the terrain here just so we can keep track. But basically, you guys are in a ravine, and around the bend, there's the shadow creature of Ormi, like the mirror image. And around that, there are, you see around the corner, these 3 large, very grotesque, they look like almost like mutant dogs. They're these large, demonic looking creatures that are like grotesque versions of dogs. Those of you who have encountered like any kind of magical history would recognize depictions of, they're called Dretch, and they're a type of small demon creature. There are 3 of them. They're about the size of like a small lion. And there are 3 of them moving towards the shadow image of Ori. So it is your turn first, Brontornis. They are about 30 feet away from you. Would you like to cast a spell at them or use one of your weapons to start closing in?
So I believe the only attack I have which can reach them would be the guiding bolt. I don't know if that's a spell or a...
Yeah, that's a spell, and it's actually a very good spell to start dishing out early damage. So yeah, if you wanted to cast a guiding bolt, that's going to have a very good chance of hitting these guys. And it's great because not only would it damage them, but it would make the next attack against that target a lot more likely to hit. So that's a really solid thing to dish out at one of these 3. So do you want to go for the one closest to you? Yeah, perfect. So describe how you want Brontornis to cast Guiding Bolt. It's going to be just a concentrated bolt of magical energy, but if you want to add flavor to how he'd cast that, or however you want to.
I think we'll have the cloak fly off from
nice.
Wings spread out, just showing off, you know?
I love it.
Now, but look what I can do.
That's awesome. So as the cloak flies off and the wings unfurl and you hurl this bolt of energy forward at the nearest enemy, can you roll me a d20? It'll be a +5 to hit.
An 8.
Well, if you rolled an 8 with a +5, that'll make it a 13 total. That does hit, actually. These guys are pretty, like I said, bulky. They're not super hard to hit, so...
First one is a 6. I'm not lying.
Nice. That's awesome. That's great.
Rolled a 6, a 2, another 2, and a 5.
15.
Dang. Okay, so your bolt just hits the closest creature, number 3. dead in the face.
Nice.
And it staggers back and lets out this like really guttural, weird howl. But you did a ton of damage to it. It looks to you guys like one more hit of any kind is going to take this thing down. And also the next hit against that one that's just been wounded is going to be at advantage because Brontornis's magical bolt, a little bit of like a shimmer of light kind of outlines this creature, and it outlines all of its different like the segments of its body, so it makes it very easy to aim at. So great hit, Brontornis. Before your turn ends, did you want to move closer or stay at the same distance you're at?
I suspect this fight will be over quite soon, so I'll probably just stay.
Perfect, that sounds good. Well, next up, these three creatures all get to go before we go to Drunnor's turn based on their rolls for initiative. The one that just got hit is going to use its whole turn sprinting towards Brontornis. It will end its turn 5 feet from him, so on its next turn it could attack him, but again, it's pretty badly wounded. Number 1 and 2, they're going to go and attack Ori's mirror image, and they look very surprised as they pounce on this thing and nothing happens because it's just a magical illusion. So they pounce on that, and that is their turn. Drunnor, you are up next. What would you like to do?
So I am going to use my longbow, and I am going to attack the one. I'm going to whittle down the group and attack the one that's wounded. Because also I'm a little bit worried for Brontornis because I like his beaky ways.
Nice. Yeah, well, but based on the magical attack from Brontornis, it's actually going to be very easy to hit this wounded one. So with your longbow, you already get +7 to your roll, which is awesome. So can you roll a d20 twice and choose the higher because of the advantage from his magical strike?
Okay, so I got 15 on the first one, and I got 25 on the second one.
Oh, well, that 25 is 1,000% going to hit that creature. So can you roll us 1d8 +3 of damage to see how much you do to it?
Yeah, so only 8 actually, which is pathetic. But
that's still enough to kill that creature. So are you aiming for a headshot with your arrow?
Through the eye, actually. That's
nice. Yep, you get a bullseye, literally. You hit it right through the eye, and as it's sprinting towards Brontornis, you just hit it in the eye, and it just kind of slams to the ground and just kind of slides right up to his feet, completely dead. So, nice shot.
For a little there, I just sort of pat it on the head as it lands at my feet.
Nice. Awesome. Well, that is the first enemy down of the one shot. I love it. Drunnor, before your turn ends, do you want to reposition? There is a space kind of on the edge of the ravine where you could get a little bit of high ground. Do you want to reposition or stay where you're at?
Let's go. Let's circle around and get there. As Obi-Wan Kenobi famously did, get the high ground.
Excellent. I love it. So.
And say hello there.
I love it. So as you all hear Drunnor say hello there as he goes up into the trees kind of on everyone's left, we will go next to Ori. It is your turn. What would you like to do? There are 2 creatures remaining. They just kind of crash through your mirror image. What would you like to do?
First of all, I'd like to point out to everybody that I looked these guys up, and this is what we're fighting, basically. They're the Ghostbusters dogs, right?
Yes. Yep, pretty much. That is accurate.
Awesome. That's awesome. And I will. Can I hit them with a firebolt?
But yes, you can hit them with a firebolt. That would be you would roll a d20 to see if you hit with it.
16 plus 6 is 22?
Yep. So yeah, a 22 definitely hits.
A 9.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's those 2 creatures. I figure you'd hit the one that's just slightly closer to you. That's going to be enemy number 1. A 9, it looks like you drop it to about half health as you hit it with a firebolt, and it staggers back and kind of rolls around on the ground to put out the flame. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm Rick Dalton in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yep, just so yeah. Awesome. Yeah, you light this thing on fire. It kind of rolls and puts out the flame, so it's not taking continuous burning damage. But yeah, another hit like that will take it down for sure. So Awesome. And for the final bit of your turn, did you want to reposition? You're already standing pretty close to Brontornis, and Clarence is going to have the option to stealth at the start of his turn. But did you want to move closer to Brontornis, or just kind of stay where you're at?
Let's. I'll stay where I'm at, because that way they're not attacking all of us together. We're dividing them. We're dividing and conquering. I'm just going to stay where I'm at. That's all I need to say.
Perfect. Sounds great. By the way, before we move on, I love that squid thing in the background. So.
Oh yeah, that's my tapestry.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome. All right. And it looks like a small halfling enters the battlefield next to Drunor there from the trees to assist.
Aww.
Yes. Hello. So Clarence, it is your turn next. I have you kind of standing. So in the ravine where off to your left, Drunor went up to the high ground. Clarence, you're further on the right. There's also some tree cover there. Did you want to make a free stealth check to get stealth so you can kind of come out and get that sneak attack against the enemies?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I roll just like the stealth check?
It'd just be a stealth check, and it's going to be DC 12, super easy check to pass. Because there's undergrowth and you're furthest from the corner, so they wouldn't have spotted you yet as the combat unfolds.
All right, I got 21.
Oh yeah, you are absolutely stealthed in the trees.
Okay.
So you're kind of up in the high ground, and so yeah, you could definitely run out of the cover and attack them with sneak attack, or use a ranged attack from cover and get a sneak attack as well. And you'd have advantage because they don't see you.
Okay.
And your whip has that 10-foot reach, so if you stand on the edge of that little raised area, you could definitely reach out from the edge of that tree line and try to hit number 2, which has not been damaged yet in the encounter thus far.
I'm going to try that.
Okay, sweet. So they have AC 11, pretty easy to hit, so with your whip, it's going to be a +1 to hit.
7 total.
Okay, a 7 does miss, so you lash out with the whip, and it manages to just kind of dodge slightly, and it stays just out of reach of the whip, but you definitely get the creature's attention, but it doesn't see you because you're still stealthed. So it's like looking around for you, but it's caught off guard, but it doesn't land a hit. So yeah, if you wanted to throw a dagger, you could do that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, sweet, and it'll be at advantage because you're still stealthed.
So if it's advantage, I can roll twice?
Yeah, roll twice and pick the higher. Or wait, did you do that for the whip?
I did not.
Let's do that first, because
right.
Roll again for the whip, and if it's higher, that'll work.
Okay, that one's a 12.
A 12 will hit, yeah, because that's a 13 total with your whip. So, yeah, it looks like your whip's going to do 1d4 plus 1 of damage.
So 5 damage for that.
Sweet, okay, so you hit number 2 for 5 damage. That looks like it does about a third to a quarter of its HP with that hit, so you lash out and hit it, and it kind of lashes across the side of this creature, and it staggers back and yelps. So after rolling that at advantage, did you want to do a dagger throw as well?
Yeah.
Sweet. That'll be at advantage also.
That was a 1, so I'll roll again. Alright then. 17.
A 17 hits.
And then another 4.
Nice, okay. So 4 more damage. Yeah, that flies, and it looks like after getting hit with your whip and then a dagger chucked at it and it lands, it looks like it's down to about the same health as the one that got hit by Ori's firebolt. So these are both at about half health.
Cool.
Awesome.
And they're the only 2 left. There isn't we killed the first one. We get these 2 down to half, and there's not a 4th one?
Correct. Yeah, there's just 3 of these, and one's dead. So, yep, after Clarence's awesome strike from the tree line that catches these 2 off guard, it actually goes to Brontornis next. What would you like to do, Brontornis?
Can I quickly check, what are my limits on spells?
So with your spells, just the same way that Kevin's can be ritually cast, where you take a few minutes to do it, and you can do those all day. You have different spell slots for some of your more powerful spells are 2nd level spells. You can only cast 3 of those instantaneously per day. And then your kind of mid-range spells, you can cast up to 4 times per day instantaneously. Now the Guiding Bolt was one of those, so you have 3 of those left. And then you also have cantrips, which are spells you can cast pretty much all day, you know. And those are like Guidance and Light, Spare the Dying, which is a healing spell, and then Thaumaturgy. So those 4 don't really come into play in combat, except for the one that can heal friendly party members. So at this point, you could either choose to use one of those limited spells for the day, or if you wanted to save those for later in the day, you could attack with one of your weapons, which those don't have any limit on how often you can use those, you know.
Okay. And how close are these to me?
So these ones, since they've moved up through Ori's his mirror image, they are about 30 feet from you, so you could close the distance and attack with a melee weapon for sure.
Okay, I am gonna go for a dagger attack on either one, whichever one's closest.
Great. That'd be number 2 is closest to you, and so you would roll a d20 and add 4 to that.
Okay, so I rolled an 18.
That absolutely hits. So then you will roll the 4-sided dice, and whatever the result of that is, +2 will be how much damage you dish out.
Okay, so I rolled a 4.
Nice, max damage. I love it. So you, oh, hang on, I keep opening the wrong tab. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you hit number 2 for 6 damage. So you slash at it with your dagger, and after a slash, you stab in. And this thing looks like if it takes 1 more hit, it's going to go down. So awesome, nice job. Now, after moving up and attacking it, that is pretty much all you can do in your turn. So it will get the chance to attack you on its turn coming up. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, next up, we are going to get both those creatures get to go, and then it'll go to Drunor. So creature number 1 is going to sprint towards Ori, and that one is going to attempt an attack on Ori, which it is going to try to swipe at you with its claws, which is just a +2 to hit. Your AC, I gave you some armor. Your AC is 11, so not super high, but it does miss, so that is great. As it swipes at you with its claws, you're able to dodge out of the way. So, as Ori dodges that strike, the creature near Brontornis is going to attempt to bite him. Now, that rolled a 12, and Brontornis, your armor class is 14, so it also misses. So that is awesome. So you are able to dodge its bite as well, but its teeth look pretty scary, so that is something to keep in mind, that you'll probably want to kill these guys before they get another chance to bite at you. Now back to Drunor in the tree line. You have the high ground. Hello there. If you attack from this high ground, you will get advantage, so you are twice as likely to hit. What would you like to do? There's the creature at half health, which is over by Ori, and then the creature that is more badly wounded right next to Brontornis. What would you like to do?
Well, my halfling helper has gone back to bed, unfortunately. So
oh, okay, good.
Going for a post mid-sleep cuddle. So I'm gonna do what I did last time. I'm gonna do the 1-2 tag team of me and Brontornis worked quite well last time, so I'm just going to come in and steal the glory again.
Awesome. We'll roll that longbow attack at advantage, so roll twice and pick the higher one. That's awesome.
I got 19 the first time, and 13 this next time, so 19.
Okay, great. Well, a 19 hits, and if you want to roll damage, based on your longbow, though, regardless of what you roll on the dice, it will still kill it. So you can roll if you want to, just to see how much damage, but that will be enough to kill it. Because
8 again. So yeah.
Oh.
This time when I hit it, it kind of like hits it a little bit, and then Brontornis gives a swipe as it's kind of like being pinned to the ground. So it's like a double kill.
I love it. Yep. Yeah, you just bludgeon it with the mace as soon as you pin it with the arrow. I dig it. Awesome. Yeah, you dealt enough damage to kill it 3 times over based on how much HP it had left. So awesome. Well, with the second creature down, there was only the one next to Ori remaining. So Brontornis, Drunor, you're in a good position. Did you want to reposition or stay where you're at?
I think I'll stay where I'm at.
Okay, perfect. So after that awesome strike, Ori is your turn next. There is this creature right up near you trying to swipe at you. What would you like to do?
I'm going to go with Eldritch Blast this time.
Do it. Eldritch Blast is a classic. Go for it.
So that is 16.
That
I rolled a
100%
10.
hits. Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, that absolutely hits. And so
7.
7. All right, nice. So you hit it, and it has just a tiny bit of health left. But as you let this blast go, it does stagger back, and a bunch of its flesh is smoldering and burnt from the attack. So now, because when you hit it, you could now disengage and move back if you wanted, just to put some space between you and that creature. Did you want to do that?
I think we're going to do that so that I can let one of the other guys finish it off.
Perfect. Okay, so as you back up about 20 feet, give some space to it, it goes to Clarence. You are in the tree line, Clarence. You are still stealthed against this creature, so any attacks will be at advantage. And you would have to move, though, to get a little bit closer in range, so you would have to step out of the tree line. But because you're behind it, you can do so stealth until you do something to reveal your position.
I go closer, and then I'm going to throw another dagger, except 2.
Nice. Sweet. That will be for your dagger strike. That'll be a +2 to hit, so go for it. And you get
21.
advantage. 21?
Oh, I'm not getting another advantage for that. And then another 4.
Okay, nice. So 4 more damage is enough to kill it. So describe how you throw this dagger and destroy it.
Where you said the flesh was all gross, I throw it right into it. And it
Nice.
just
Yeah, it hits and it kind of stands up and then it just boom, and falls to the ground. So you guys have survived your first combat as a team. Great job.
Hey.
The ravine is
Good job,
clear.
team.
Yes, and Drunor, as we were going into combat, based on your favorite terrain, these types of creatures are not of this area. So that is suspicious that these types of magical demon dogs were there. Probably could be linked to this meteor strike, and that shows evidence that there may be some kind of magic seeping out of that area. So you would realize that from this combat.
Friends, my new friends know my insight.
Good. Yes. So they hear your insight that this seems to be these creatures probably came from the meteor strike. So
okay.
Yes. So there could be more of such things deeper within. Do you guys want to do anything to recover from that combat before we proceed? I know Clarence would retrieve her daggers, get those set up and back ready for more combat. So anything else the 4 of you want to do?
Nobody took damage, right?
No, thankfully no one took any hits. I was lucky. Great.
I'm just going to peck at one of the dogs and just, like a crow eating some roadkill. Just a minute.
Okay. Actually, for eating these types of demon dogs, I do need you to make a Constitution saving throw, which will be your D20 +2 to make sure you don't eat some rancid meat and get sick. So.
I rolled a 16.
Okay, so you eat this and you're like, that is not quality meat, but I'll be okay. So awesome. No sickness from that. So great. Well, as you guys move on through this ravine, keeping an eye out for more of these magical monstrosities. Thankfully you don't encounter any more, but you find yourselves you see the ground kind of get raised up in a very sudden contrast to this very naturally formed ravine. You do believe that is the edge of the meteor crater. Hey everyone, just a reminder before we jump back into the awesome D&D session as our team is on the way to the Meteor Crater, that we're doing this whole D&D one-shot, everyone coming from different time zones and getting together over Zoom to play D&D here in order to support Autism Resource Mom. Check out the video description for a link. Go to autismresourcemom.org. They're an incredible organization, a nonprofit based out of Southern California that provides support, guidance, and hope to autistic individuals and their families. They provide opportunities for social connections for those on the spectrum, and also for parents and caregivers. They provide information, referrals, resources, seminars, all kinds of things. But most importantly, just that community of people who get it, who get the challenges, and who know about all the different resources out there, and just helping each other out. It's an incredible organization, founded 10 years ago by the mother of a young autistic adult. Support them any way you can. Share their stuff on social media. Donate if you can. They're awesome. So thank you for watching this video, and check them out for sure. All right. So as you guys crest the edge of this crater, looking down into the crater, you do see that there is just kind of like an open hole in the very center of the crater where it looks like you can go further down. And that's quite unusual for a meteor strike, but also not far from that, in the basin of this crater, you see 3 tents and some people milling about in kind of you count 5 people, humanoids of various races. You notice that some of them are dwarves, some of them are humans. You notice one dragonborn for sure, and based on their leather armor kind of looking thrown together, no uniforms or anything, these are probably bandits of some kind, looking to go in and plunder this area. Now, based on your line of sight down to this hole in the center of the crater, their tents are a little bit off to your left, but not too far from the opening in the hole. So what would you guys like to do?
Are the bandits near their tents, or are they near the hole?
So 3 of them are kind of walking towards the hole and talking. They're moving pretty casually. They don't see you. There's 2 sitting by a little campfire near their tents, and then you're not sure. The tents are kind of a dark maroon color, so you're not sure if there's more people inside of them, but you count 5 from what you can see. And they're about 150 feet from you. It's a pretty big crater. So
I think we should sneak up in the tents, try to get a better idea of who we're dealing with before we start moving toward the hole. Anybody?
What if I scout overhead? They're least likely to see. People don't look up. That's the thing, apparently.
That's true. That's true. I was going to say initially, like, you'd be kind of easy to see against the sky, but if they're looking down at this crater, probably pretty easy. So, all right. Well, Brontornis, I will need a stealth check from you. It'll be a pretty easy difficulty, but that is going to be a +2 from you. So if you want to roll that d20.
5.
Ooh, okay. So with a 5, you kind of fly up, kind of at an angle. So, but one of the ones sitting by the fire does look up and see you and goes, "Hey, look, that's a really big bird. Look at that." And the other guy sitting at the fire kind of looks up at you. The 3 over by the crater don't see you, but what do you want to do as you see them kind of pointing at you?
I'm just going to continue onwards and just pretend to be a big bird.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, so you're able to look over, and as you're flying over, one of the tents kind of flaps open a little bit, and you do see someone sleeping in a cot in there. So there's at least a 6th bandit. But as you fly over, you don't see anyone else in there. Now, as you fly over the crater, they kind of stop paying attention to you. So you could loop back around and rejoin your companions, but they might notice you. So do you want to risk that, or do you want to land on the opposite side of the crater where they won't notice?
I think land on the opposite side, and then we can maybe do a little pincer movement later if there's a fight.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, you're able to land, and so you're on the opposite side of the crater, though, so you can't really communicate with your friends, but let me see if you have any kind of spells to communicate with them. I don't think so. Yeah, so you land on the opposite side. You can watch them now from the tree line, and you're hidden, but Drunor and Clarence and Ori, you see your friend Brontoris fly over, and a few of the guys at the tent spot him, and then he lands, and you're like, all right. So what do the 3 of you want to do now that Brontornis is on the other side of the crater?
The reason I went there was to...
How much is, I presume there's like nothing because it's like where a crater hit.
Correct. Yeah, just those tents that they've set up after the fact.
I think I could probably stealth a little bit closer to be like, because I have like keen senses, so I could be like a link between the 2 parties.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point, David. So Drunor could totally go around in the ravine, and because of your ranger background, it wouldn't be difficult terrain, so you could move at a normal speed and kind of try to be, you wouldn't even have to roll a stealth check because you're far from them at the edge of the crater, and you could go try to link up with Brontornis for sure. So,
okay.
Cool.
This might be a little more off the ball, but does anyone here know either smoke signals or Morse code? Does that exist in this world?
I don't know about Morse code, but smoke signals, I figure culturally there would be some kind of basics that most people know. So I'd say that Drunor being from far away might not be super familiar with those, but Ori and Clarence probably would, I'd imagine.
Would it be possible to use fog clouds to produce some smoke signals?
It would, but just keep in mind the bandits would probably also see those. You could use fog cloud, and you could ritual cast it so it wouldn't use a spell slot. Fog cloud. You create a 20-foot radius of sphere. Right? You could also cast that on the bandits and then just run into the hole without them noticing.
150.
Yeah, you can sneak to the edge of it and be... I said they were about 150 feet from you, so you wouldn't have to get more than 30 feet out of the tree line to cast that if you wanted. And if you're coming from a direction they're not looking, you could do that.
Let's do that, I suppose.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to ask anyone's opinion, I'm too far away.
Well, as you're thinking of this, you do see Drunor come through the tree line close to you. So you two are together, and then Ori and Clarence are back on the kind of like the other hemisphere of the crater's edge. So
before Brontonis does this, can I cast Detect Magic to see if there's anyone magical around us?
You can. So for Detect Magic, that is going to be so for a 30-foot radius from yourself. So Drunor, as you cast this spell to detect magic, something strange happens that's never happened to you before when you've used this spell. I do need you to make a wisdom saving throw, which will be a +2, please.
13.
Okay, so with a 13, you just barely pass, but as you cast Detect Magic, in the past when you've used this, your senses have been able to just kind of almost hear and see and smell magic around you, and based on how those look or feel to you, you're able to detect what school of magic they are. When you cast it this time, your senses are immediately overloaded, almost like a flashbang, just like bright light, like ringing in your ears, and you suddenly are able to stop the spell because you're like, oh, this is going to hurt me if I keep doing it, because there is so much magic radiating from underneath this area you're standing in, from underneath the crater, that it is like magical white noise, very, very loud. And so you're not able to ascertain against that noise if the bandits have anything magical with them, but definitely from underneath you, there's massive amounts of magic radiating from there.
And would I know if any magic that we cast will interact with this?
Good question.
That's a great question. Actually, based on what you just experienced, can you roll me an Arcana check to ascertain that?
5.
You have no idea. You're like, I don't know.
I will harbour my doubts.
You'll hide your doubts. Okay. Well, Brontornis, you make eye contact with Drunor, who looks like he just had some kind of crazy experience for a moment. Do you want to proceed with the fog cloud plan?
Yeah. I feel like the fog surely can't do much harm anyway, so let's go that. Let's cast fog cloud.
Okay. So, much to Drunor's relief, as you cast fog cloud, nothing unexpected happens. So as a fog suddenly envelops these bandits, you hear them start going, whoa, what's happening? Where did that come from? Ah! And they're obscured from the cloud. So Clarence and Ori on the other side, you suddenly see cloud erupt around them as you notice the small figure of Brontornis erupt from the tree line. So these bandits all seem obscured. What do you guys want to do?
I think we should use this opportunity to sneak into one of those tents and find out what's going on.
Yeah,
Perfect.
or go down. Should we do that or go down to the hole?
Let's check out the tents first, because maybe we can find something out about what's in the hole from these tents, and if there's something down there that requires like special gloves or something, maybe they have those gloves.
We agree to that.
Okay. So Drunor and Brontornis, you see Ori and Clarence moving swiftly towards one of the tents on the edge of the fog cloud. What do Brontornis and Drunor want to do? Do you guys want to meet up with them or kind of be on the opposite side to help? What are you guys thinking for that?
I think we perhaps check how many tents are there? Did you say 3 or did I imagine?
3 of them, yep.
3 tents.
3 tents. And you saw a guy sleeping in one of them.
Shall we check the other unoccupied tent?
Possibly.
I think that could be a good move.
I like it.
Happy with that, David? /Drunor.
I concur.
Cool. So as you guys are moving, Brontornis motions to you guys not to go to the tent closest to you, because that's where you saw someone sleeping, but to the other tent that's kind of on the edge of the fog cloud. So the 4 of you link up, and you are able to get to the side of that tent. Now, to insert yourselves inside without making noise, I will need stealth checks from you guys. It will be easy due to the fog cloud, so anyone attempting to enter the tent, I will need a stealth check from. The DC is going to be 13. So yeah, as long as you roll higher than a 13 with your stealth bonus, which, Ori, for you, that is going to be just +0, so whatever you roll in the D20.
I got 14.
Nice, you pass.
15.
Great, you pass.
I got 13.
Perfect, you pass. How about Brontornis?
I've ruined everything for everyone. I've rolled a 6.
Oh no! So, okay, so Drunor, Clarence, and Ori all sneak into the tent, and this one is unoccupied. So Brontornis, as you enter, there is a little end table near an empty cot in the tent, and it has a couple books and a few other little trinkets from whoever's the bandit it was that was sleeping there. And you bump into this, and it just smashes to the ground. And there's a few little glass statuettes that just shatter. So outside, you hear people going, "Wait, I hear something in one of the tents." And you guys think you have about 30 seconds to search this and then get out before people enter. So if you guys want to look around for things, I will need investigation checks to find anything helpful in the tent.
Can I, since I was the one who drew attention to them, can I go outside and pick a fight to buy the rest more time?
You absolutely could do that. Okay. 15 investigation? Awesome.
14.
All right,
That's
14.
with my bonus.
Nice. Okay, so a 14, a 15, and how about you, Drunor?
19 with no bonus. It's almost perfect.
Ooh! So as the 3 of you start searching really swiftly in here, Brontornis is going to step outside. I will tell the 3 of you what you find in a moment, but Brontornis, as you step out, there are the 2 bandits who were by the fire. One is a dwarf, one is a human. They both are approaching the tent, and as you step out, they draw swords. Do you want to fight them, or do you want to try to lead them away?
Let's try and lead them away. The whole point here is I'm trying to buy everyone else as much time as possible. So I'm going to sort of fly past them and lead them away.
Because they're kind of lunging at you, in order to do this, I want you to make either an athletics or acrobatics check to see if you can kind of start leading them away and gain a lead on them. Your acrobatics is better than your athletics. That's a +2, so I would recommend rolling that.
Let's go with that. So I've rolled an 11 and then +2, so 13.
Okay, that's just barely enough to kind of start leading them away. So as you start flying through the cloud that you have created, the fog, you see them chasing after you, and they're just behind you, but far enough away that they're not going to hurt you, which is great. They're not a threat. So as that's happening, back in the tent, Drunor with the 19, you find a hastily drawn map of the what looks like the entrance to the crater, and within it shows a series of passages that all kind of wind around and lead to a larger rectangular chamber, and then there's 2 paths that lead out of that, and someone's drawn question marks beyond those 2 paths. So it seems like you found a map of what lies below. You also find a list of names that has there's 14 names, and all of them are crossed out except for 7. So it seems like half of the group may have gone down and potentially not come back. Clarence, with your roll, which was a 15, if I remember, you find I'm going to add this to your inventory. You find a nice little dagger that you recognize was part of a large find from a couple years ago of an ancient tomb that was raided, and you managed to go in and recover most of the things from bandits, but not all of them. And so some items were taken and put on the illegal relics markets, and you recognize this is one of the daggers that came from that ancient culture. It's a dagger of venom. I've just put it into your inventory, so that is a dagger that will magically poison its target. So that's a helpful find. And Ori, you find as you're going through, you find a small chest that is not locked, but as you unlatch it, inside you find a satchel of coins, so that has a little bit of money for you. Since this is a one shot, we're not going to write that down, but you find a little bit of money. You find a note that says that it looks like a correspondence that, as you hastily read it, is basically someone saying, hey, the buyers up north are going to give us a couple thousand gold for whatever's inside, but these cultists are offering a lot more. I'll leave the decision up to you. So it looks like whoever was in this cot has two different offers for whatever's inside the area below the impact crater. And you also find 2 healing potions. So those could come in handy. Those are going to be greater healing potions. They're going to be 4d4 plus 4 of healing. I'm going to write that down that you guys have those, so you don't need to track that. After the 3 of you find these things in the tent, do you want to go and help Brontornis, or what do you guys want to do?
We should probably give Brontornis a hand, right?
Yeah, or we could, will he be, well, we don't know what he's doing because we're in the tent. We go out and assess where he is. And if he...
As you guys were investigating, the 3 of you would have heard Brontornis walk out, and you would have heard the 2 guards say, hey, who are you? And you kind of hear them run off to the side. So it does seem like he's led them on a chase, so you guys would know that.
Cool. Then can we look in one of the other tents?
Sure.
Let's do that.
Okay. So as you 3 are moving through the fog towards another tent, Brontornis, I would like you to roll me a dexterity saving throw as you're leading these guys on a chase. That's going to be a +2 with a d20 from you.
Yes, I've rolled another 5.
Oh no! Well,
I like that Brontornis is just our bull in a china shop. Like, by the end of this, you're gonna have like a snare drum like on your foot that you stepped in, and like an accordion that keeps going in and out like around your neck.
I love it. Well, Brontornis,
hey,
as you lead these 2 kind of on the periphery of the fog you've created, and they're chasing behind you, you fail to dodge as you hear and an arrow flies through the air, and it hits you in the shoulder for 5 damage, which is about 25% of your total health. So, Brontornis, you take an arrow in the shoulder from presumably another bandit, and you are still flying a few feet above the ground, though, giving chase. What do you want to do after that arrow hits you?
Yeah, did you say 25% of my health?
Yeah, because I think your health is 20, and so 5 damage is about 1/4.
Okay, that's not the best.
It's not.
Okay, I am gonna have to fight them. I think. How many know where I am?
It seems like 3. It seems like the 2 chasing you plus the 3rd that just fired an arrow, who seems like he's a little bit in front of you and off to your right.
Okay, and I don't have any idea how much health these guys have.
No, typically someone with that kind of armor, who's just a standard humanoid, they're going to have about a little bit over half as much health as you have total. That would be your estimation based on looking at these guys.
But they also have the armor, so you'd probably think, oh, it'd be hard to hit.
Correct.
Okay, I am going to use my spiritual weapon because that seems to do quite good damage.
It does, yes. So that'll create a weapon right near them, so you can create any kind of weapon and it'll be a melee attack. Do you want to go for the two that are chasing you and kind of stop and engage them, or do you want to go for the one that just fired an arrow at you?
I'm going for the revenge route. I'm going to hit the guy with the arrow.
Awesome. Do it. So yeah, roll a d20 against him. That'll be a +5.
I got a 20.
A 20?
Better than my last 2 rolls.
That's a critical hit. So that's going to be... can you roll 2 8-sided dice +3? So that's a critical hit. I love it.
2 8-sided dice.
Yeah, 2 8-sided dice and then +3 to the total of those.
First one's an 8.
Heck yeah.
Second one's a 1.
That's okay.
And then
So that's
3.
yeah, 12 damage total. So what kind of weapon do you summon against this bandit who just fired an arrow at you? It's the Dragonborn, by the way, that you spotted earlier, who fired the arrow.
Okay, and it has to be a melee weapon of some description.
Yeah, but it's magic, so you can flavor that however you want.
Right. Okay.
You can summon a giant rock with a stick to just like a floating rock. Just...
I'm going to go with a giant carnival hammer.
Yes.
Just squish him with that.
Cool. It hits him right in the forehead, and like a cartoon, he just kind of goes, and then just falls back down. You kill him in one hit with that critical hit. That is awesome. So he is down. There are less bandits now than there were before. So as that awesomeness is unfolding, the three of you go into the other tent to investigate. And you do outside hear a yelp from some bandit that you can't see as Rontornus kills him with a carnival hammer. And as you three enter the tent, there is a dwarf sitting on his bed with a little like hatchet, looking confused at what's happening. So I need the three of you to roll initiative as you startle this dwarven bandit in his tent.
18.
18? Nice. Okay, let me write this
18.
down. Nice.
Also 18, yeah.
What's your dexterity bonus, Ori?
Wait, sorry. 0.
Okay, and Clarence, what is yours?
Which one is it?
Dexterity?
Saving throw? Like
no, just your overall dexterity is a +0 also, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so then since you guys tied, but you're startling this guy, I'll let you guys choose who wants to go first in the combat. Oh yeah, or you can rock, paper, scissors it.
You want to rock, paper, scissors, or?
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3, go?
Yeah.
Right. 1, 2, 3, go. All right. 1, 2, 3, go. There's always
okay.
doing it. Okay.
So
1,
as 4
2,
pairs of magical
3,
scissors.
Go.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
All right.
Here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Um.
Josh, pick a number between 1 and 10.
That's what I was about to do. So I've picked a number. Both of you put in the chat what you. No, just say it. What's the number you guess?
8.
3.
Okay, 3 was closer. So Ori will go first, and then Clarence.
Did the characters canonically play 3 games of rock, paper, scissors?
Yes,
they did. Yeah,
they did.
Yeah.
The dwarf bandit is very confused. He kind of like slinks out of bed with his axe, looking very troubled at 2 strangers coming in and playing rock, paper, scissors and tying 3 times in a row. He thinks he might still be dreaming. He's not sure.
And then randomly saying numbers into the air.
Yes. 8, 4. Runor, what do you roll for initiative?
What do I roll for? It's a good question. Let me tell you what I roll for initiative. Let me find it first. There we go. Oh dear. 6.
A 6? Okay. Well, so as you all enter the tent and this bizarre game of rock, paper, scissors unfolds, Drunor, you are almost as confused as the bandits. So, the bandit with his little axe goes, "Are you here to bring the pancakes? I can't tell if this is a dream or not." But Ori, you get to react first to this strange little occurrence in the tent. What would you like to do?
Yes, we are here to bring the pancakes. Would you like maple syrup or boysenberry syrup?
He kind of looks at you and goes, I knew I was dreaming. This is a weird dream. This place is very strange. I don't like being here. I hope this job ends soon. I certainly don't want to go in that crater.
Well, that's where the pancakes are, sadly. So, if you want the pancakes, you're gonna have to go in the crater. So just that way.
Okay, but I'm gonna go back to sleep for a bit first. Okay, and he starts climbing back into the bed. He's very confused.
Okay. Can I wait? Sorry. Can I use my persuasion skills to convince him that they're the best pancakes he ever ate?
Sure. Yeah, roll a persuasion. He's kind of half asleep and confused, so it'll be an interesting roll. Okay. But go for it. Yeah.
All right. Hang on. So it's 13 plus 6 is 19.
Yes. So yeah, he goes, oh yeah, I want some of those pancakes. I'm gonna go next time they ask me. I'll go in, but right now I just want to sleep some more.
Oh, so he's actually going to sleep now?
He's trying to sleep because he thinks this is a dream. He's trying to kind of go back to sleep.
Oh well, let's just fucking kill him in his sleep then.
Okay. Yeah, it's your turn first. If you want to do an attack, you can do it at advantage because he is not defending himself.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my dagger and I'm gonna stick it in where his jugular vein is.
Okay. Yeah, as you go up to stab him, roll me a d20, roll twice, and pick the higher one.
Okay. 19.
A 19 will hit.
And a 6, so I'm gonna go with the 19.
Yes, that's going to be. Let me just double check one thing on your character sheet. Yeah, that's gonna come out to a 21. That 19. So, because you're doing it where he's not aware, I'm just gonna give you an auto crit. So, yeah, you kill him. You slit his throat. He dies.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right. So as he's kind of thrashing about, confused for a minute, he's dying. The three of you want to kind of loot the tent the way you did the other one.
This got darker than I expected. I'm just.
Well, his last thought was, "I wish those pancakes were real."
He could have had pancakes, man. He could have had them, but.
Yeah. Well,
Juno's just kind of stood around saying, "What strange customs in these lands."
Yes, strange customs indeed. So now that the tent is empty, as the three of you start looking around, I am going to switch back to Brontornis. Brontornis, outside the tent, you killed one bandit. There's still the two chasing after you. Do you want to try to attack them as you kind of are leading them around, chasing around the perimeter of this little camp?
I feel like I probably need to take a more defensive approach. I think I got lucky last time. Quick question, what does Thunderwave do?
Let me look up the exact verbiage, but I think Thunderwave is going to be... so it radiates outward from you, so any creatures within 15 feet around you have to try to dodge it, and so if they dodge, they take half as much damage. If they don't, they take full damage. So basically, yeah, it's just kind of a little area of effect around you. Anyone around you would take that, so right now there's no friendly creatures around you, so now would be the time to deploy that if you wanted. They're about 10 feet behind you chasing afterwards, so that'd be a solid spell to cast.
Yeah, let's do that.
Great. So Thunderwave, casting it at this level is going to cause 3 8-sided dice of damage. If you'd like to roll that, please.
Wow.
3 8-sided dice. So we have a 6, we have a 7, we have a 4.
6, 7, 4.
17.
That's going to be 17. Nice.
17.
So the first bandit fails. The second one fails. So I picture you turn and just kind of slam your wings down to create this magical thunder wave, and it knocks both of them to the ground, and you deal enough damage to kill them. Do you want this to be a killing strike or non-lethal damage to knock them unconscious? I'll leave that choice to you.
Oh, I didn't know that was an option.
It can be.
Do you know what? There are still, 2 of them left somewhere in the fog cloud. If we need information, we'll get it from them. I think we should just kill them. Oh no, 1 left. Because
actually on the list that Drunor found, there were 7 names not crossed out, and 2 are dead. The one that you killed with your magic weapon, and then the one that Ori stabbed. So there are presumably 5 left. If you kill these 2, there'll be 3 left.
Let's not have them waking up later and trying to kill us again. Let's just kill those 2 off.
Cool. So yeah, these 2 get knocked to the ground and slammed down, and they just go limp as you slam them down magically with Thunderwave. So nice. Well, back in the tent, the 3 of you, we're not going to roll another investigation. There's not as much stuff in this tent. So you would find, in addition to the little hatchet that the dead dwarf had, you find a couple other arrows, a very standard short bow, just some standard weapons, some daggers if you guys want to grab them. There's like 4 of those. And then some extra rope and other adventuring gear. Most of it's pretty redundant based on what you have. But you also, you would find in it a little wooden chest that has a lock around it that looks like it needs a key to unlock. So that is something you guys can hang on to and try to unlock later if you find a key on anyone. So outside, you guys hear a boom of a thunder wave, as presumably Brontornis is in combat. Do you guys want to rush out to help him or search the third tent?
Good question. I want to search the third tent. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, we go third tent. Do we know he can do Thunderwave?
I don't think you guys would have discussed it, so you don't know if that was him dealing damage or him getting attacked.
Can one of us recognize Thunderwave as something that, like, he can do with his wings?
Actually, yeah, you guys would assume that that's an ability he would have.
We'll
So,
can I take 2 of the daggers?
Yeah, certainly.
That's fine with the rest of the party.
Yeah, do you guys want to, how do you guys want to distribute the other weapons you found?
I'll have another dagger. Now I have 2 daggers.
Nice. That means you can have a spare if you want to throw one, or you can use 2 at once. Totally up to you.
So they call me back in the neighborhood. They call me Johnny 2 Daggers. They don't call me that.
That is hilarious. I love it. So I'm just kind of drawing out the campsite now because I thought of something that would be hilarious and awesome and weird to happen. So I figured the 3 that were in the tent are going to step out to just kind of see how Brontornis is doing. Do you want to head towards that third tent?
Yes.
Okay. Let me write you guys on a map here.
Wait, Drunor, are you into heading to the tent? I don't know. Okay.
Safety in numbers.
Perfect. I'm going to combine everyone's initiative rolls now. Give me 1 second to do that. Here, we're going to keep the initiative that you 3 rolled in the tent, and then I'm going to put Brontornis at the top since he's kind of doing his own separate combat. The 3 of you stepping out of the tent, can I get perception checks from all 3 of you? And actually, Brontornis, if you want to roll me a perception too for something else.
Yeah, I rolled at 2.
Oh, so you do not see this.
I rolled a 4.
Okay, so Ori does not notice, but Clarence, you said a 20?
17.
Oh, 17? Okay, cool.
Nice.
And Drunor, what'd you get?
12.
12? Okay. So, Drunor and Clarence, as you are exiting the tent, you see the third tent about 20 feet in front of you on the opposite side of the little camp. And you do see a bandit inside putting on armor hastily, realizing that something's going down. Ori, you notice this bandit as well, but you do not notice, whereas Drunor and Clarence do notice, about 40 feet to your left, coming through the fog, there's a very large creature walking towards you guys. Drunor would immediately recognize the silhouette of a giant.